to this. Minecraft. I mean, Minecraft's so boring, right? It can get boring. After a long period of time, you would think it's just literally so boring you don't even want to touch it. But for some reason, it's almost like an addiction. You just want to continue. Sorry about the first video on the bottom. I'm still trying to figure that thing out. I still haven't figured it out. Any comments, please leave it under there telling me how to get rid of that first video crap. Doesn't know what to do on that. Anyway, I did a modification on a sea temple, and I threw it through all the comments and descriptions and everything else to make sure everybody understands that's just what I'm going to do. Love the do. Probably a little too much. So, this isn't the modification. This is just what's left of some sea temple bricks and dark bricks and stuff like that that I picked up. I basically, if you haven't seen the last video, I took a jungle temple and converted it to a underwater sea temple with the bricks. Basically just converted the jungle temple to underwater sea temple bricks and prismarine and dark prismarine and stuff like that. Put the iron doors on just in case if I manage to heal some villagers from zombies, so that way they don't come in my house. So I built that house over there for them, but right now my pet cat's inside that house because he drives me nuts. And of course this looks pretty decent here. I got all my chests of everything you could possibly imagine, including stone brick, which I do love to have. My spare wood. My box of wood to show off, because I normally don't use this wood unless it's a dire emergency. Right now, I was working on just this because my stone brick was maxed out in this trunk, but I ended up utilizing a whole bunch of it. And then, of course, I was also working on the cracked stone brick, too. More rails to work with. Actually, I got all these rails from an underground mine shaft that I found. Oh, man. Oh, that was awful. Heartburn. And, of course, this is what's left of... I think this row here is... No, this row up here is what's left of this temple. Jungle temple. And then another jungle temple. Another jungle temple. And another jungle temple. So I've disassembled 4 jungle temples. And of course, I managed to pick up some other odds and ends here. I always like to have as much dyes as possible in case someone comes over and says, hey, I want a different colored bed. And I'll make them a pink dye bed, and then I'll call them gay for no apparent reason. And then also here, I managed to find some sand temples and took the orange terracotta from 2 different ones. Didn't take the blue because I couldn't find the blue because I already rated it the first time. Made some black terracotta and also some green from the cactus green, which makes it easier. And of course, just a single piece of terracotta down here. I'm going to try to make all the colors for it. And of course, we also got some daylight sensors and redstone lamps, which I do like to utilize, and some green concrete. You'll notice that here a little bit later. And that's just an empty container. So let's go out and take a gander at what I did. There's the green concrete that goes all the way around, all the way up over to the house with the kitty. Let me feed him real quick so he'll shut up. There we go. Yeah, shut up. You talk too much, cat. So I made myself a nice little walkway with green concrete. Let me pick up a boat, which is kind of weird. Look at this. I can get in the boat and move it on the ground. I didn't know you could do this. I could probably just run across this since I do have Depth Strider 3, which is kind of cool, but I'd rather row a boat. I had a friend of mine who was supposed to take over that house, but he and or she, either one of them, didn't make it back into the world. So this is mainly a world specifically for me and me only. If anybody wants to come in and play, they're more than welcome to. I'd most highly recommend not trolling me in the process, because I do troll back. And of course, this is strictly survival only, not creative. There's no creative here on this one. I haven't done I mean, I used to do creative all the time when I first started the game, and then I started thinking, man, it's boring on creative. It really is. It's very boring. But when you get into survival, you have to fend for yourself. You have to really figure out what you're doing. And so far, I've figured out a lot. Just playing all these different games. There we go. There's one sea temple. Let's see what I did with this rascal. Done some updates to it. Okay. Crap. I thought he would have landed on top. Alright. Let's hop on inside and see what we got here. Of course, I replaced all the sea lanterns with jack-o'-lanterns. I can't believe it took me a while to figure that out. And in doing so, it's an easier light source. It's like a brick. It just goes right on the wall, and it's just as bright. So I try to keep all the sea lanterns as much as I can. Managed to get some trades with the villagers and got some chain armor. I do like the chain armor stuff. And found this in one of the spawners, Cursive Binding 1. Not too sure. I'm going to definitely find out on somebody if they decide to hop in and play with me. Here's what I did with this sea temple. I had these 3 furnaces and buckets of lava, which that's all I use. I saved the coal for trading with villagers. This thing was pretty much full of lava. And then I would get all the sponges out of the sea temple, pop them in here, get all the dry ones, and just dry this thing out. If the rooms were really large, I would take some of the bricks from the sea temple and close them off to where they were smaller rooms and dry them off as I go. And the end result is, after I got it dried out, I completely hollowed out the bottom down here. I mean, it's just one big open space. But then I decided to do something a little extra different. Something I've never done before. Well, if it'll go, there we go. I built a house inside the sea temple. A fairly large one, too. I could have changed out the floor to wood, but the stone brick was hard enough as it is, putting it all in. And instead of putting in windows, I just actually put in iron bars instead, because it's a little bit easier to see out sometimes. At least with this texture pack it is. And I didn't put any doors here, I just put the chest in for looks, and then just put the bars up on each one of these little small rooms. And then of course over here, didn't put steps in yet. Put an extra chest up here. I could have put windows up here, but there was just a wall, so it wouldn't really look right. But you could see out this way, which is kind of cool. And if need be, if a person wanted to, they could take out these 2 bricks here and make another doorway right there where they could access out there. Same on this side as well. And I tell you, after I cleaned out this entire area of this sea temple and then gutted all the walls on the inside where it was one big empty space, and of course I had it on easy. Monsters were spawning in left and right, and I had to reset the game a couple of times because the creepers, when they were in there, they were blowing up like crazy and just putting holes everywhere, water rushing in like mad crazy. So I just put it on peaceful right now, which means I have no mobs spawning in, although I do get a lot of bats in here, and there are bats around the area. You just don't see them at the moment. Oh, the heartburn is killing me tonight. What did I eat? Oh, that's what it was. I ate my mother-in-law's food. That can make anybody sick sometimes, depending on who made it. Let's see. So, as you can tell, there's a lot of open space with all this, and I got it set up to where it's just, if you notice, all the water's dripping. That's the last block you can open up before it hits the water. And this was really extremely long and boring, literally to say, to go through. But when you have nothing to do and you're just bored, just go through and do this. I mean, it's not that entirely hard. It can get boring after a certain period of time, but you know what? If you want to do it, you just do it. Yep, there's a bat there. Put some torches back here. Maybe it might provide a little bit more light and prevent monsters from spawning in, which I highly doubt. But you never know. Because if you get to the point where you're just so bored with a video game, why even bother have it? I mean, normally what I'll do with a video game is when I get it, I keep it regardless. A lot of people will sell them, but then after selling it, and if they did an update for it, you're kind of screwed because you don't have the game anymore, but you have all the updates for it. You have all the DLCs and everything else. It's not going to do you any justice. There was Presmarine bricks here. I took them out and put glass in, so that way you can look outside into the dark depths of the ocean. Kind of mysterious in a way. But seeing something like this inside here, I mean, it's big, it's massive. This thing probably took me about maybe a half an hour to build. It's just basic. It's nothing major. And I haven't put anything else in here yet. I mean, I could take the stuff from upstairs and probably put them inside some of these rooms and have a spare bed in here if I wanted to. And utilize this as my home base. But I don't want to be underwater. I don't like water to begin with unless it's in a shower, and that's about it. I don't like being under the water. Oh, did I go too far? I went too far. There we go. I mean, looking out like this would probably be not too bad, providing, you know, you don't get that massive earthquake and all of a sudden the glass breaks in and all the water starts rushing in, then you start, and then you start freaking out, but, you know, I don't think I'll do that. And of course, you'll notice that there's, looks like bricks going, or not bricks, but blocks going up in the air over this way when I move slightly this way. That's where my underground fortress is. It's underground, which is hilarious. And then all I need to do is obtain probably, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I need 11 more Eyes of Enders. I have 2 at the moment. I've been really trying hard to kill as many Endermen as possible. But they're hard to spawn in, and the only time you can find them is in the desert. Which means, I mean, truly find them is in the desert, so I have to go in search of. So I'm going to go back to my house and see, maybe show off something extra. Oh, okay, cool. I love Too Much Dew. I was actually utilizing the Voltage Dew earlier, and I love Voltage, but I like regular Mountain Dew. I love Baja Blast. I wish they'd still make it, but unfortunately they decided not to, so I kind of frowned on Mountain Dew for that one. Well, great thing about jack-o'-lanterns, you can put them on land, you can put them underwater, and they're easy to make, and they really don't take much to make, which is good. And I managed to pick up some pumpkin seeds and started growing pumpkins like mad crazy, along with sugarcane, which I've been doing a lot of just for the simple fact so I can make the paper and trade with the villagers. Okay. I pick up the boats mainly for the simple reason is these freaking octopus keep coming over there and pushing them. And I like having a porch. Alright. Then I had to build a room for more chests, which is hilarious. So I had to make another room. Did the Presmarines on the walls. Presmarine bricks. And I got boar upstairs. Presmarine. all right here. And my favorite, dark prismarine, which looks like bricks. And sea lanterns. And I tell you, it makes it easier with sea lanterns when you also have a silk touch pickaxe, iron pickaxe that is. So it makes it really easy. Of course, if you've seen my previous, you might know this is my potion room. My unlimited water source for my bottles, because all I have to do is... oh. Okay. Drink some water. And now I got water. Unlimited water source. Fantastic. And really nothing else here. There was some furnaces here, but I took them to the underwater sea temple. We go up the ladder here. This is the dark prismarine, which looks like bricks. This don't look like bricks, but you know, it's a different texture pack. It's the city texture pack. My favorite. Let's see what we got here. Oh. Sponges are done. There was more, but I already picked up some and put them back. Alright. There we go. Yep, there's the rest of the prismarine bricks. It's really weird too because the underwater sea temples have way too much of the prismarine brick right here. Go to my bedroom, which is just literally a small room, almost like a closet for a bedroom, but you know what? It's nice and cozy. Makes it easier that way. Hopefully I can get rid of the rain. I believe it's gone. Yes, it is. It is gone. I managed to get one cactus from the desert and brought it over here. Just for the simple fact is I like the cactuses. I'm not from any of that area, but I do like cactuses. It's the only plant I've ever seen that it can actually retain water for long periods of time. It's a very interesting plant, I must say. But anyway, I just wanted to show off that temple there and see if I might give someone an idea on to something that they might want to create. Because the mind is very creative. You never know what you might be interested in. And Minecraft is one world. Literally, you can create almost anything you want. I mean, I strive to have a jungle. I don't know why. Maybe because I want to listen to Welcome to the Jungle. But at least this way, I always have a jungle. And it gives me a chance to also obtain more ocelots, which are the cats in the game. Because once you tame them, what happens? You ended up getting what looks like a house cat. And of course, the white one in there is just like the white cat that I have personally myself. But everybody has a preference for biomes. I mean, you can do the desert biome, which I did at my stepfather's house, and he doesn't like Minecraft because he calls it's blocky. Well, that's normal. That's Minecraft. To get the unblocked game, then you would have to get something a little bit more elaborate. But Minecraft being a blocky game, it's also a small file program, so it runs really easily on a game system, also on a computer, providing you don't make like I don't know, what is it, 10,000 blocks of dynamite go off all at the same time. I know it sometimes can crash computers because it's running extremely hard. It's a possibility you could do the same thing with my game system, which used to do on the PS3 all the time. But I mean, I know people that like being in the forests. I've known one guy, and one guy only, that likes to get the what is that? The dark oak forest mansion, and rebuild it to his own specifications and have it all set up with passageways and everything else. It's unreal. Because, I mean, there's so many things you can do. You can take these, like the jungle temple, and completely redo it. I had a friend of mine that took one once and took the floor out all the way down to bedrock. Dynamite all the way down. And then put a stairway, like a revolving stairway going all the way up. And then put floors in for each one. and basically had a very large jungle temple, but like an underground bunker under his house. I mean, it was just massive. I mean, huge. So you would take, like, for instance, if he wanted to, he could take a small house from, I mean, itty bitty like this, and then in the process of doing so, he would just have a door and a ladder going down. That's it. So if someone came over and knocked down his house, no big deal. He's underground. I did the same thing. I would take the water fountains in the desert. You'd see a big water fountain. I would gut it all out, run it all the way down to bedrock, put a ladder going all the way down, and that was my entrance, all the way across all the map, because each map would have 5 or 6 of them on the map. You just go to each one or 2 or 3, depending on the map you get. And that would be my entrance. I would dig down and I would literally dig out everything. Basically, the entire underground was my home. And everything above was just, I would let players play on. So if I see a player, oh, you're on that part of the map, then I would jump and run all the way across to underground to that location, climb up the ladder and beat him, and he couldn't even figure out what happened. Hilarious. I'm assuming one day, there might be people living underground if they're not doing it already, but, if they are, they got to be white as a ghost. But I hope you enjoyed. If anybody has any questions or concerns, feel free to leave a comment, or if they want to, throw me a question on the game system. The account name is SS-OFFICER-88, all in caps with a line in between each one. If you want to play a game as well, you're more than welcome to. Throw me a friend request, and I'll throw you into a game and see how you do. If you need pointers or tips, I'll be more than happy to help you with on that as well. And as always, as usual with me, Auf Wiedersehen, as German for farewell. And thanks for watching.